Hello guys, welcome to another video. And in today's video, we are going to discuss about Remix routing, how you can create routes in Remix project. So Remix provides you Remix router, which is built on top of React router. It gives you all the functionalities of modern framework to create a routes in Remix framework. Remix by convention supports file-based route system. And there are two ways you can create file-based route system, maybe creating flat routes. We are going to see in a bit how you can create flat routes, or you can have routes nested inside the folders. I personally prefer routes nested inside the folder to create modularization so that I have my different modules in each folder. But by convention, Remix promote flat route and it is very subjective which one you like, but we are going to explore both. And there is another way as well. You can create routes using JSON routes. Remix community provides you 3 packages you can use. They provide you some extended features on top of Remix route conventions. You can use this package, Remix flat routes, if you want some hybrid approach of JSON routes, flat routes. And if you want to create your own custom type of routing system, you can use this package. And if you just want to have a JSON file where you want to define all the routes, you can go with this. Let's take an example now. This is my code. This is a default Remix.js project. It doesn't have anything altered yet. Any route you want to create should present inside the routes folder. In Remix project, underscore index file is a way to create root path of your application. So if I run this application, we know how to run it. For now, we are going to run npm run dev, and dev script is this, which is going to call Remix. Remix is a compiler and it's going to call dev mod, and it's going to create bundle for you, and you just need to simply click on this URL and you will see the web page. Here we go. All right now it has all the preloaded stuff provided by Remix, but we are going to remove this and just going to have maybe a index page for now. If I run, save, reload, I don't need to reload because automatically it hot reloads whenever I change something in the files. But this is my root file. If you see, I don't provide any slash path after this host name. So it is a root file. Now, if you want to create a basic route in a Remix application, let's take an example. You want to create a about page. What you can do is in the routes folder, create a file. Create a file with the same name of the route you want to create. I want to create a route of about. So I'm going to create a file with the name about.tsx. Enter. And it's going to export a default component. I can name it component. I don't mind. You can name anything you want. This. And I'm going to return about page. Oopsie. Cool. Default is must. Now if I save this and go back to my application, and if I try to open a route name about, you see I have a page. I have a URL about, and whatever I have defined inside this about file, whatever I'm returning as a UI, it is rendering in the web page. As simple as that. If you want to create another route, maybe let's create another route, contact page. Maybe I want to create a route with contact us by having a hyphen between the contactors .tsx. I'm going to do the same here, copy, paste, and I'm going to name it contact us page. Save. Contact us. We have a contact us page. If you want to go with underscores, new file, maybe let's name it as current sales page. Okay, I am naming it as current underscore sales. Copy, paste. Let's name it current sales page. Save. And if I again go back to a different URL which is called current sales, and it must be underscore. We have another route here. It is that easy to create a route in Remix project. You just need to create a file with the same name you want to create a route for, and you have a route there. You just need to export a default component with something to render as a JSX format. It works for you. Nothing else, nothing rocket science, no rocket science. You just need to create a file with the same name as you want to create a route. That's all you need. Now let's take another example. What if I want to create a route, something like this? Events, and I want to show some events happening at particular place. Maybe let's name it as global for now. I want to show global events in this route. But as you see, this route contains two paths. Events, under events, we do have global. In Remix, if you want to create such routes, so there is a special delimiter provided by Remix which is called dot. What I can do is I can create a new route. I can name it events. Events is going to be a route for me, and whatever routes I want to add after the events, I just need to add dot, and I can specify another path name which is going to be global, and I can name it tsx. Events.global.tsx, and if I just copy this and paste it right here and have global events, save and run, as you see, we have a nested route as well, or I would say it's a route followed by two paths, events, globals. So whatever you write a path name and add dot between them, if I say path dot path dot path, that is going to be a ultimately path like this, path slash path slash path. This is very simple. As you see, if you want to create a trail route, a route followed by another path, you can simply use dot delimiter. So when we are using dot delimiter, we could say we are creating nesting route. So if I'm creating a route with path event followed by global, I would say like events is going to be a parent and global is going to be a child. So ultimately, if we see it under React Router format, we would see something like this. Talk about dynamic segments, or if you want to handle dynamic data inside the URL, like something user ID, post ID, slugs. So you can create dynamic segments in Remix. It handles dynamic data for you. How you can create? Let's take an example. You have a route, events, and the city name is going to be a dynamic value. So what you can do is you can create a file in Remix, something like this, events dot followed by dollar symbol. Whatever name you want to give to your dynamic value, I want to name it as city name dot tsx followed by the tsx file. It is going to be a name of your dynamic file. You can access this value inside your component using use param. So let's see an example. Okay, we have this. And I want to create another route, events dot, and it's going to be city name dot tsx. Let me stretch it a bit so that you see all the routes here. And again, I'm going to have a default export here like this. And I'm going to name it city name. Okay. Right now we don't have this value, but we can access this value. How? Using a hook called use params. I can use a hook, use params, and we are going to import it from Remix Run React, like we understood in another video. Why we have to import everything from this package rather importing from the React router, router DOM directly. Now we have this. I can access this city name from this use param. Why city name only? Because the file name, the slug I am giving to a file name is the city name. So that's how it differentiate and get to know which is a dynamic value in your route. And if I go back to my route, and if I just pass maybe Delhi, you have Delhi value here. If I pass Mumbai, you have Mumbai value here. But if I pass global, you have a global value there, because global is a separate route. If you are passing a separate specific data after the route and you have dynamic data as well, so when the specific matches, it's going to give you the specific result. And when it doesn't match the specific global, then it's going to give you this result. You can check these values as well by using a command provided by RemixRouter, which is called npx remix route, and it's going to give you the output of how it should look under the React router. It should look like this. See, when we have this events global, it's a separate path. But this event city name is a dynamic value and is going to be handled by like this. Remix routing, you can also have optional segments. So if you specify your dynamic segment inside this circle basis, so it's going to be optional. Now the path is this as an optional value dot movies. So ultimately it's going to be movies for sure. But if you pass any value, then again it's going to open a same route for you. Let's see an example. If I create another route, maybe lang dot movies dot tsx, and again save everything here, and this time I'm going to get lang and not a dollar sign for sure. This, and it's going to be lang optional. It is an optional value and it is going to be movies. Okay, if I save this and run my code, and this time I need to open movies. Okay, if I'm opening movies, it is opening, but it is not printing anything because lang is empty. But I can write movies here. You see, it is printing you, and it is valid out. But if you pass some language as an argument here, maybe fr, then again it is opening you the same route. And it is not mandatory. You have to specify this optional lang at the first place of the route name. You can specify it anywhere, maybe after the movie. Like if I change it, and if I do this, lang is going to work. It's just like I need to go to the movies / fr. It's going to work. Yes, there are many combination you can do. Those we are going to understand in next video, which I'm going to create about advanced routing in Remix. So as far whatever we have done, I see one problem. What if I do have 1,000 of URLs? In that case, I need to create 1,000 files, right? And having their resources, their util files, their component files, it's going to be a nuisance because I need to create a folder here, maybe components for reusable components, utils, services, stuff like that. But I'm kind of a guy who likes to have each module files into its folder itself, rather having everything in a shareable, folder. Now Remix provides us a way to have these routes inside a folder. Now, if I want to have this about route inside a folder so that I can keep all about files in that folder only, I don't need to create separate folders. What I can do is, I can go and create a folder called about, and I can move this file into the about, but I have to rename it to route. Route is a convention way to tell like, yes, this is a route for this about. I can also name it index. It won't harm. But like it's mostly depends on you, whatever you want to name it. And we are going to discuss this like route versus index in the next video where I'm going to discuss advanced routing. Okay, right now for simplicity, let's keep index. Now about folder has one file index.ts. Now if I go to the code and open about, we have about page. But now the fact is this route has its own folder. Now here I can create components folder. I can create utils folder. I can create services folder to keep its module files into this space in this namespace only. But yeah, there are cases like I want to have reusable components. I can have this folder still inside the app. I can create reusable components here, but yeah, specific components related to about should go into its own folder. Same for the contactors. How I can do it? Similarly, I need to create a folder, contact us, and move this file here. Let's rename it to route index. Both works for us. And if I go to this contact us, you see the page here. Cool. Now, let's talk about this where you have some dynamic segments. Okay. Here, if you want to have a folder structure for this dynamic segment, what you have to do is If you do something like this, events, or let me for now delete this file so that we can have a better clarity. If I create a folder events, and if I create index.tsx here, and if I print something, events, go back, events, oops, it is working. But now if I want to have a dynamic segment, my first thought would be, what if I create a dynamic segment file here, something like this, state.index.tsx, or maybe just simply state. And if I go to this, something like this, and state folder, and inside this, oh, it should be a file. Okay. File, state.tsx, save this. And maybe I have state here and print state. Let's name it event, save this, go back, events, and let's pass something. Well, it's not going to work. It used to work in previous version of Remix, but now they have changed. They are more into the convention way to have each route has its own folder rather wrapping the children's inside a same folder. There is a way we can do it, but we are going to learn this in the next video. But for now, if you want to have a separate folder for this dynamic segment, so you need to create another folder here, something like new folder, events.state. And here you can have its own index.tsx file. Index.tsx, and if I just move all data from here to this place, save, and if I try to run this now, well, if you notice, this is not the actual component being rendered, but this is the actual component being rendered there. See. So what is happening exactly? So whenever you create a main path and you're creating dynamic segments after the path, so this component assumed as a layout for other children's, like this is a children state, children is children of the event. So now if I want to make it work, so like if I use event, it's going to work, but if I pass state, a dynamic segment, it's not going to work. Even if I check routes and picks routes, so it's going to be like this. See, the state is a children of event, and both have different files. So if you want to make it work in Remix, you need to use component, something called outlet. If I use outlet, and if I run this now, you see now the actual component which is being rendered is this one. Now what about the events? If I run event, it is not rendering me anything. So maybe here you can perform conditional rendering, like maybe you can check this here, and you need to import, and here you can check.
Session by
If state is present, then just go with outlet. Otherwise, you can do your stuff for event page, like maybe calling some event component like h1 event comp. If I do this and reload, right now it is event component, but if I do pass state, now it is actually calling outlet. So outlet is basically it is a component which renders all the children in parent route. Or if you're creating a layout, then all the children are going to be rendered in this outlet. This outlet and advanced routing, we are going to discovering another video. So that's all for this video. If you like this video, please do subscribe. If you do have questions, please comment. But must watch the next video, which is going to have advanced part of the routing in Remix.js. Thank you so much and have a great day.